Your mind is not broken, but it is being stolen. Right now, someone is living inside your head, taking up space they never paid for. And the worst part is, you are the one who gave them the key. Every ounce of energy you spend thinking about them is an ounce you will never get back. And most people do not realize how much they have already lost. You are lying in bed at night, replaying a conversation from 6 hours ago. Someone said something rude to you, something disrespectful, and instead of letting it go, you keep running it back. You think about what you should have said. You rehearse the perfect comeback. You imagine their face when you finally put them in their place, and before you know it, 2 hours have passed. You are exhausted, you are angry, and the person who upset you, they are sleeping like a baby. They are not thinking about you at all. You wake up and reach for your phone before your feet hit the floor. You scroll, you react, you respond, and before you know it, a hour is gone. You check a message from that one person who always has something negative to say. You read a comment that gets under your skin. You see someone posting about their perfect life, and suddenly yours feels smaller. All of this before breakfast. All of this before you have even started your day. This is what happens when you give your attention to people who do not deserve it. Your energy leaks out like water through a cracked glass. And most people never even notice the crack. They just wonder why they feel empty all the time. There was a man who understood this problem better than almost anyone in history. He was not a therapist. He was not a life coach. He was the most powerful man on earth, running an empire while fighting wars, dealing with betrayal, and facing death on a daily basis. That man was Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome. And what he wrote in his private journal almost 2,000 years ago is so relevant to your life right now that it feels like he wrote it for you. Marcus Aurelius had a simple rule. He said that the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. Think about what that means. When someone is toxic, when someone tries to bring you down, when someone insults you or disrespects you, the natural response is to fight back, to match their energy, to show them you are not weak. But Marcus understood something most people miss. The moment you react, you become just like them. You lower yourself to their level. You hand them the remote control to your emotions, and they get to press whatever button they want. This is where most people get stuck. They think ignoring someone means you are scared. They think walking away means you lost. They think staying silent means you have nothing to say. But that is the biggest lie we have been told. Silence is not weakness. It is the loudest display of power you will ever use. And the people who understand this are the ones who actually win in life. Let me explain why this works. And I mean really. Works on a level most people never think about. When someone insults you, when someone tries to start drama with you, what are they really doing? They are fishing. They throw out bait and wait for you to bite. The insult is the bait. The rude comment is the bait. The passive-aggressive text message is the bait. And the moment you respond with anger, the moment you fire back, you just told them their bait works. You just gave them exactly what they wanted. You confirmed that they have power over you, that they can control how you feel with just a few words. Now flip it. What happens when you do not bite? What happens when someone throws their best insult at you and you just look at them, calm, unbothered, and then go about your day? It drives them crazy. Not because you said something clever, not because you won the argument, but because you showed them, without saying a single word, that they do not matter enough to get a reaction from you. That is devastating. That is power, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Think about the last time someone ignored you when you were upset. Remember how frustrating that felt? That frustration comes from a loss of control. When you yell at someone and they do not yell back, you feel powerless. When you throw a punch in the air and hit nothing, you lose your balance. That is exactly what happens when someone tries to provoke you and you refuse to engage. They lose their footing. They expected a fight and got silence instead. And silence, in that moment, is louder than anything you could have said. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, said something that changed the way I think about conflict forever. He said that it is not things that upset us, but our opinions about those things. Read that again, slowly. It is not the insult that hurts you. It is your belief that the insult matters. It is not the rude coworker that ruins your day. It is your decision to let their rudeness define your mood. The event itself is neutral. Your reaction is what gives it power. Imagine two people standing in the rain. One of them is furious. They curse the sky. They complain. They let the rain ruin their entire afternoon. The other person stands there and thinks, it is just water. Same rain, completely different experience. The rain did not change. Their perspective did, and that is exactly how it works with people. The insult does not change. The rude comment does not change. But when you change how you see it, when you strip it of its meaning, it cannot touch you anymore. This sounds simple, but it is one of the hardest things to actually do. Because we have been trained our whole lives to react. Society teaches us that if someone disrespects you, you need to stand up for yourself immediately. Social media rewards the loudest, most dramatic responses. We watch people go viral for their clapbacks and comebacks, and we think that is what strength looks like. But real strength has never been loud. Real strength is quiet. It is controlled. It is choosing your peace over proving your point. Here is where it gets practical, because I do not want to just throw philosophy at you and leave you hanging. I want you to actually use this in your real life, starting today. The first thing you need to understand is that not every battle is your battle. This is huge. Most of the conflicts in your life right now, if you are honest with yourself, do not actually matter. That coworker who made a snarky comment in the meeting, it does not matter. That family member who always has an opinion about your choices, their opinion does not matter. That person on social media who disagreed with you, they absolutely do not matter. But we treat these tiny moments like they are life or death situations. We invest hours of mental energy into people and situations that will mean nothing to us in a week, a month, or a year from now. We give permanent emotional real estate to temporary people and temporary problems. And then we wonder why we are so exhausted, why we feel stuck, why we cannot seem to move forward. Seneca, one of the wisest Stoics who ever lived, talked about this exact trap. He warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of the pain you feel from other people is not real pain. It is imagined pain. It is the story you tell yourself about what they meant, what they think of you, and what you should do about it. You build this entire movie in your head, cast yourself as the victim, and then feel terrible about a situation that mostly exists in your imagination. You replay the scene 100 times, each time adding a little more drama, a little more hurt, a little more reason to stay angry. And while you are busy directing this film in your mind, your real life is passing you by. Opportunities are slipping through your fingers. Moments with people who actually care about you are being wasted. All because you chose to live inside a story instead of the present moment. So step 1 is learning to pause. Before you react to anything, give yourself 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds. In those 10 seconds, ask yourself one question. Will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, it does not deserve 5 minutes of your energy. This one habit alone will save you from 90% of the unnecessary stress in your life. 10 seconds is all it takes to go from a reaction to a choice. 10 seconds is the gap between the old you and the version of you that refuses to be controlled. Step 2 is understanding the difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is instant. It is emotional. It is what happens when someone pushes your buttons and you fire back without thinking. You say things you do not mean. You send texts you wish you could take back. You start arguments that go nowhere and leave everyone feeling worse than before. Responding is different. Responding is slow. It is calculated. It is choosing what to say, if anything, after you have had time to think clearly. Most people spend their whole lives reacting. They are emotional pinballs, bouncing from one trigger to the next, controlled by everyone and everything around them. The goal is to become someone who responds. Someone who is in control. Someone who chooses their battles wisely and fights only when it is truly worth it. The difference between reacting and responding is the difference between a forest fire and a campfire. A forest fire is out of control. It burns everything in its path and leaves destruction everywhere it goes. A campfire is contained. It is intentional. It gives warmth and light without destroying anything around it. Your emotions are the same way. When you react, they burn wild and cause damage to your relationships, your reputation, and your own mental health. When you respond, you use that same fire, that same energy, in a way that actually serves you. Step 3 is protecting your inner circle. This is something most self-help content skips over, but it is critical. You cannot ignore toxic people if you keep inviting them into your life. Look at your phone right now. Look at your contact list. Look at the people you spend the most time with. Are they adding to your life or subtracting from it? Are they building you up or tearing you down? Are they giving you energy or draining it? You do not need a lot of friends. You need the right friends. You need people who challenge you to grow, who support your goals, who are honest with you, even when the truth is uncomfortable. If someone in your life constantly creates drama, constantly brings negativity, constantly makes everything about themselves, that is not a friend. That is a liability. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you can start building the life you actually want. Your circle should feel like a recharge station, not an emergency room. If you leave every single conversation with certain people feeling drained, confused, or frustrated, that tells you everything you need to know about whether they belong in your life. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You are thinking, this sounds nice in theory, but what about the people I cannot avoid? What about my boss? What about my family? What about the people I have to see and deal with every single day? This is a great question, and it brings us to one of the most powerful concepts in Stoic philosophy. The dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca all taught the same core lesson. There are things you can control and things you cannot. Your thoughts, your actions, your effort, your attitude, those are yours. Other people's behavior, their opinions, their choices, their words, those are not yours. And the moment you truly accept this, everything changes. You cannot control whether your boss is rude to you, but you can control whether you let it ruin your evening. You cannot control whether a family member criticizes your decisions, but you can control whether their criticism changes your direction. You cannot control whether someone talks behind your back, but you can control whether you waste a single second worrying about it. Once you draw that line in your mind, once you truly separate what is yours from what is not, a weight lifts off your shoulders that you did not even know you were carrying. Suddenly, the things that used to keep you up at night start to feel small. Because they were always small. You were just holding them too close to your face. This is not about being a pushover. Let me be very clear about that. This is about being strategic with your energy. You have a limited amount of mental and emotional fuel every single day. Every time you react to someone who does not deserve your attention, you burn fuel that could have gone toward your goals, your health, your relationships, your future. Think of your energy like a battery. Every pointless argument drains it. Every social media fight drains it. Every time you replay a hurtful conversation in your head, you are draining that battery. And at the end of the day, when you want to work on your dreams, spend quality time with people who matter, or just feel at peace, the battery is dead. You are running on empty, and you did it to yourself. That is the part that stings, right? Nobody likes hearing this, but most of your stress is self-inflicted. Not because you are a bad person, but because nobody taught you how to protect your energy. Nobody sat you down and said, hey, you do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. Nobody told you that you can just let things go without losing your pride or your self-respect. We were raised in a culture that celebrates fighting back, that glorifies the person who always has the last word, that makes you feel like silence is surrender. But the truth is the exact opposite. The most successful people in the world all share one trait. It is not talent, it is not intelligence, it is not luck, it is their ability to ignore distractions and stay focused on what matters. They have trained themselves to let go of things that do not serve them. They do not get pulled into petty arguments. They do not care about proving themselves to people who have already made up their minds. They do not waste time trying to change someone who does not want to change. They have mastered the art of selective attention, pouring their limited energy only into what moves the needle. And it is one of the main reasons they are where they are. And this is the part that really needs to sink in. When you ignore someone who is trying to hurt you, you are not being passive. You are making an active choice. You are choosing yourself. You are choosing your peace. You are choosing to invest your time and energy into things that actually move your life forward. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. That is discipline. That is the kind of strength that does not need an audience. There is a story about the Buddha that perfectly captures this idea. A man once came to the Buddha and started insulting him. He said terrible things, tried to provoke him, tried to get a reaction. The Buddha sat there, calm and still, and when the man finished, the Buddha asked him a simple question. If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, who does the gift belong to? The man was confused. He said, well, it would still belong to the person who offered it. The Buddha smiled and said, exactly. I do not accept your anger, your insults, or your disrespect. They still belong to you. That is the level of mental strength we are talking about here. The ability to let someone throw everything they have at you and simply say, no thank you, that is not mine. Most people cannot do this. Most people catch every insult, hold on to every slight, and carry it with them for days, weeks, sometimes years. They become collectors of pain, stacking up resentments like they are trophies, never realizing that every single one is weighing them down. They walk around with a backpack full of grudges, wondering why their shoulders hurt, wondering why they feel stuck, wondering why they cannot seem to move forward. The bag is heavy because they keep adding to it, and they refuse to put it down. You have to let things go. Not because the other person deserves forgiveness, not because what they did was okay, but because you deserve peace. You deserve to wake up in the morning without a heavy chest. You deserve to go through your day without being haunted by someone else's words. Letting go is not a gift you give to others. It is a gift you give to yourself. Every grudge you release, every old argument you stop replaying, every person you stop trying to change, you get a little lighter, you get a little freer, you get a little closer to the person you were always meant to be. And here is the truth that ties all of this together. The people who try to provoke you, the ones who gossip about you, who insult you, who try to tear you down, they are fighting their own battles. Hurt people hurt people. That coworker who is always negative, they are probably miserable inside. That family member who criticizes everything you do, they are probably insecure about their own life. That person online who attacks strangers, they are probably lonely and looking for any kind of connection, even if it is negative. Their behavior has almost nothing to do with you and everything to do with what is happening inside of them. This does not excuse their behavior, but it changes how you see it. When you understand that someone's toxicity is a reflection of their inner world, not yours, it becomes almost impossible to take it personally. You start seeing their insults the way you would see a child throwing a tantrum. You do not argue with a child having a meltdown. You just let them get it out of their system and move on with your day. The same approach works with toxic adults. When you stop seeing their words as attacks and start seeing them as reflections of their own pain, something shifts inside you. The anger fades, the need for revenge disappears, and in its place you find something unexpected. You find compassion, not for them necessarily, but for yourself, because you finally realize you were never the problem. So where does this leave you? Right here, right now, with a choice. You can keep doing what you have been doing. You can keep reacting, keep arguing, keep giving your energy to people who do not deserve a single drop of it. Or you can decide today that you are done, that your peace matters more than your pride, that your future is more important than proving a point, that you are going to master the art of ignoring what does not serve you and start pouring everything you have into what does. This is not something that happens overnight. It is a practice. It is a daily choice. Some days you will fail. Someone will say something that gets under your skin and you will react before you can stop yourself. That is okay. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Every time you catch yourself before reacting, you get stronger. Every time you choose silence over a pointless argument, you level up. Every time you walk away from drama instead of diving in, you prove to yourself that you are in control. And over time, those small wins add up. They build on each other like compound interest. And one day, you will look back and realize that the things that used to set you on fire barely even make you blink anymore. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal every single day. He reminded himself of these principles over and over again, because even the emperor of Rome needed practice. If the most powerful man in the ancient world had to work at this daily, you and I can give ourselves permission to struggle with it too. The difference is that we keep showing up. We keep choosing peace. We keep guarding our energy like it is the most valuable thing we own, because it is. Your attention is your life. Where you put it determines who you become. So stop putting it on people who drain you. Stop putting it on arguments that go nowhere. Stop putting it on proving yourself to people who will never be satisfied, no matter what you do. Put it on your growth. Put it on your goals. Put it on the people who lift you up, who believe in you, who actually deserve a seat at your table. Put it on becoming the kind of person who does not need to prove anything to anyone, because your life speaks for itself. The power of ignoring people is not about being cold. It is not about shutting down your emotions or pretending you do not care. It is about being so locked in on your own path that the noise around you fades into the background. It is about reaching a point where someone can say whatever they want about you, and it does not even register, because you are too busy building something that matters. It is about waking up every morning with a clear mind, a full battery, and the unshakable knowledge that nobody on this planet has the power to take your peace unless you hand it to them on a silver platter. That is real strength. That is real power. That is the secret the Stoics figured out thousands of years ago, and it has been available to you this entire time. You just had to stop looking outward and start looking inward. You just had to stop fighting everyone else and start fighting for yourself. The battle was never between you and them. It was always between you and the part of you that keeps giving them the keys to your happiness. If this hit different for you, if something in this video made you stop and think, do me a favor, hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it helps more people find this message when they need it most. Subscribe if you have not already, because we go deep on topics like this every single week. And drop a comment below telling me the one thing you are going to stop giving your energy to starting today. I read every single comment, and I want to hear from you. Stay strong, stay focused, and remember, the greatest power you have is the power to choose what deserves your attention.